Yeah, look, I think it's worth stressing that if the BBC story was not the dominant story today, then the big story would be this absolutely extraordinary meeting between the new Syrian president, Ahmed al Sharaa, and President Trump. Ahmed al Sharaa was, until not all that long ago, the leader of the Nusra Front, the Syrian branch of al-Qaeda. He was, in the Americans' eyes, a designated terrorist. He had a bounty on his head of $10 million, and yet now he is the leader of a country that America believes has a future with him at the helm, which is why they have decided to invite him here. He clearly has renounced all his ties with al-Qaeda. He is trying to bring the country together, and from an American perspective, diplomatically, geopolitically, they see an opportunity here. Donald Trump sees an opportunity. He wants to further his Abraham Accords. That's the normalization between between the Arab world and Israel. And of course, if Syria was to be part of that, Syria is an immediate neighbor of Israel. Well, that would be a huge moment. But the optics of what we will see unfold I assume in the Oval Office in the hours ahead are really very extraordinary and a sign of the times, I think. I mean, back in 2003, 2004, a young Ahmed al Sharaa was in Iraq. He was a fighter against American soldiers. He was detained, imprisoned in the notorious Abu Ghraib prison just outside Baghdad by Americans. And yet now he is the leader of a country, and he has been invited here to the White House. Remarkable times.
The US correspondent Mark Stone is there for us at the White House. So, Mark, so along with suing the BBC for $1 billion, there's another extraordinary event going on today.
An event that would be at the top of the news, I think, had it not been for the row surrounding the BBC. This is an extraordinary moment. Ahmed al Sharaa was not all that long ago the leader of the Nusra Front, the Syrian branch of the terror network al-Qaeda. He was, in the eyes of America and all of the Western world, a terrorist. The Americans had a bounty on his head for $10 million. He is a man who was a young 20-year-old, I think he was about 20, went to Iraq to fight alongside the insurgents who were fighting the Americans. He was imprisoned in the early 2000s by the Americans at the notorious Abu Ghraib prison outside Baghdad. All these years on, that same man finds himself here in the Oval Office. We haven't, unfortunately, got the image that we want to see. The optics will be extraordinary, but he's in the Oval Office. We haven't seen that moment yet, because unusually, Donald Trump has not invited the media in yet, at least. That may well happen towards the end of the meeting. We've got a brief glimpse of Ahmed al Sharaa arriving into the West Wing through the side entrance. There hasn't been the bells and whistles that we usually see for world leaders here, the Guard of Honor on the North Lawn. For reasons we don't know why, but they've decided not to do that. Maybe it's because they don't quite know which flag to fly, which Syrian flag to fly. Is it the one that has existed since the late 1940s, or is it the pre-revolution, the pre-Assad flag that the current government in Syria is flying? Maybe that was one of the reasons, but no Guard of Honor. But don't be in no doubt, this is a highly significant meeting between the American president and the new Syrian president. America sees opportunity here. It sees a future, a Syrian future, with this man at the helm, despite his past, a past that he has now put behind him. There are many sectarian challenges, though, within Syria, and I think that, as I say, the Americans see opportunity. They want, for example, to further the Abraham Accords. Donald Trump wants his Abraham Accords to be widened. That is the normalization between Israel and Arab nations. And of course, if Syria was to join that, well, that would be a huge moment indeed, Syria being an immediate neighbor of Israel.
In May, Washington dropped his status as a specially designated global terrorist. Our US correspondent Mark Stone is there at the White House. And as you were saying earlier, Mark, an extraordinary moment. Is there also some risk attached to it for the White House?
Well, there's always risk, and I think the risk here is that Syria could still fall apart. I mean, the sectarian challenges within Syria are very, very clear indeed, and have been clear over the past few months as Ahmed al Sharaa tries to rebuild his country. And what he wants to help him rebuild his country is diplomatic alliances. He wants to be brought back into the fold. He wants sanctions to be removed. He wants to be seen as a global statesman, and he certainly got that today. I mean, the journey that he has had over a couple of decades is utterly extraordinary. Who would believe that a former al-Qaeda terrorist would be in the Oval Office with the American president? But that's exactly what happened over the course of the past couple of hours. Unfortunately, we don't have any images to show you of that because unusually Donald Trump did not invite the media into the Oval Office for this meeting. I'm sure we'll get something at some stage soon, but we think Mr. al Sharaa has now left, or is about to leave the West Wing for a meeting that is hugely symbolic. I mean, when he was in his late teens or early 20s, he travelled to Iraq from Syria to fight against the Americans. He was captured, he was put in prison, he was in the notorious Abu Ghraib prison just outside Baghdad. From there, he went, once he was released, he went back to Syria and became the leader of the Nusra Front, the Syria branch of al-Qaeda. He had a bounty on his head, $10 million by the Americans for his capture. And yet look where he is now. I think what the White House wants to do here, they see an opportunity here. They see, yes, an opportunity for Syria to be transformed, for investment opportunities within Syria as well, of course, but also diplomatically, the normalization deals that Donald Trump is trying to push through, the so-called Abraham Accords, normalization between Israel and Arab nations. They want to push that through. Trump is very keen to push that through, and Syria is a part of that jigsaw, and an immediate neighbor of Israel. So plenty will come out of this meeting, I'm sure. We haven't incidentally had a readout from either the Americans or the Syrian government on how the meeting went, but a symbolic moment, no question.
Okay, Mark, thank you very much indeed.